Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris and you're watching Decents. So on today's video, we're going to be talking about Louis Vuitton's collection cologne or cologne collection, which is also known as the California collection. These are all the fragrances that are inspired off of California. This was originally a collection that had Afternoon Swim, Sun Song, and Cactus Garden. They have changed since, and those have been discontinued except Afternoon Swim. And they have launched some other ones in this range. Some of these are good, some of these are bad. There's one that I don't have in this video, and just as a disclaimer, I did get a sample of it. When I did smell it, it was my least favorite, and I thought, after having a bad experience with one of these, I was like, I don't know if I want to spend $300 for a 100 ml bottle to not like the fragrance. So the one that we don't have in this video is On the Beach, just so you do know. So if you are looking for that fragrance on this video, I am sorry, I would definitely click away because I won't have very much in-depth comments about that fragrance. But if you're looking for one of the other ones, stay tuned to see what we think about it. So I'm going to be ranking these from worst to best, just so we can see which ones are my favorites, which ones are my least favorites, which ones I want to wear the most, which ones I don't want to wear at all. There is one here, which is obviously going to be the least favorite, which I was very much in love with when I first got it. I cannot tell you the greatness that I thought the fragrance smelled like. And then as it started to progress and it died off after 15 minutes, I was like, absolutely not for $300. So obviously our number 5 spot is going to go to On the Beach. That is because when I got a sample of this fragrance, I was very underwhelmed. It was very similar to California Dream, but without the nice, sharp citric notes that I really like. So it did have citric notes in it. I'm not saying that it didn't, but it didn't have the sharp, nice quality that California Dream does have. But maybe I should certainly try it. It might have a little bit more of a wear time. On our number 4 spot, we do have this guy here, which is California Dream. Very disappointing. I did like this fragrance. The smell itself is very nice. This fragrance is mandarin heavy, so if you do like mandarin, this is what this fragrance smells like. Now the issue with it is that I also get a lot of grapefruit in here. It kind of gives me vibes of Dior Homme Cologne, which is the reason why I like this one to begin with, because I love Dior Homme Cologne. But this one itself had very poor performance. That's to be expected with a fragrance that is very heavy with citric notes, because citric notes, unfortunately, are used as natural oils when it comes to perfumery. They're usually synthesized and they usually use synthetic notes with the natural notes. The reason why that is because natural notes don't last as long. Neither do the synthetic ones, and I think we have learned our lesson with this one here. For $300, I would have thought that this would have been a lot nicer wearing, a lot better performing, and I would have thought that, we would have gotten something that was going to be a little bit more groundbreaking. Although it is a nice scent with benzoin, mandarin, and ambrette, this fragrance does have a little bit of a lackluster effect to it. Like I said, it smells very similar to a sister fragrance, which is Dior Homme Cologne. Both of these brands of Louis Vuitton and Dior are part of LVMH, and from what I've heard, Jacques Cavalier and François Dimaschi's offices, which are the two in-house perfumers for both of these respective brands, were right next to each other at the LV headquarters. So I don't know, very nice bottle. The presentation is also my least favorite. It's very boring looking. So that is why this fragrance is in my number 4 spot. In my number 3 spot, I do have the newest one in this range, which is Pacific Chill. This is what the bottle looks like. Very nice bottle. I really like the presentation. It's kind of like a mossy sea type of color. It's supposed to represent the Pacific Ocean or the Pacific coast of California, which is the entire coast of California. This fragrance is nice. I will say that it does have really beautiful qualities. So it has a lot of the great qualities that Afternoon Swim does have in this fragrance. This fragrance has these aquatic, late evening sea notes that, just come through the fragrance. That is not a note listed on this fragrance, but that's what I get when I smell this one. It is a little fruity, if you will. So if you do not like fruits, it is going to be extremely fruity. I did do an in-depth review about this fragrance, but I do like it. It does wear nicer as the time progresses. So if you spray it on in that moment, you're not going to like it because it's going to be lots of fruit all at once. And then those fruits tend to dissipate and you tend to get a little bit of a nicer, softer experience that's kind of very ambrette, if you will. It has a lot of ambrette in here, which is what gives it that nice, very delicate touch to it as the fragrance does tend to dissipate. It does linger a lot on your actual clothing, so I did spray this. I did have a bag on, and on the strap of the bag, I could still smell it days afterwards, and I could still even smell it a week afterwards. So that's very nice. So you do get some longevity and performance out of this one. It's not going to be beast mode, so don't expect anything like that. But I would say that it's going to be a lot higher wearing than any of the other ones in this range. So if you're looking for the highest wearing one in this range, I would certainly say that Pacific Chill is the one to go. In my number 2 spot, I do have one. I know this is going to get a lot of hate. I don't know if it will or not, but I do have Afternoon Swim. This was extremely hard because obviously with number 1 being City of Stars, both of these were a toss up. They were kind of very par to par. They had the same longevity, they had the same performance, the same trail, the same sillage, the same everything essentially. They're very similar in the aspect that they have these beautiful, like fruity type citric notes on them, but they have a very nice ambergris base to it that really makes these fragrances just chef's kiss. But this one itself, the reason I picked it for number 2 is because although it is very nice, although it is one of those that I really do tend to grab for the summertime because it is so fresh, because it is aquatic, because it does have a very nice mood to it, I can't help but think why they were not able to make this fragrance a little bit longer wearing. You know, it is a very expensive fragrance. And the bergamot is really the star of the show in this fragrance here with the ambergris. It's just done so well. I think the presentation of this bottle is very beautiful as well. Very nice looking bottles. They are very simplistic if you ask me. Very beautiful, very timeless. I think these will be definitely bottles you can have within 10 to 15 years and say, oh, they're still pretty, they're still nice looking, kind of like a Chanel bottle, but in a very Louis Vuitton way. And my number 1 that I have selected is City of Stars. And the reason why I selected this fragrance is because it does have a lot of the nice qualities that Afternoon Swim does have in it. So it has those nice citric notes, like I said, that nice ambergris in it. I just find that this one itself is a little bit more dressed up. It's a little bit more thought through. It has a little bit more depth to it, a little bit more je ne sais quoi to it, and really makes it a star because the fragrance itself is done extremely well. It does have some fruity elements in it. It does have some citric notes in it. It does have some ambergris notes in it. It does do everything very well. The description of this fragrance as well, with it representing the City of Stars. If you read the description on Louis Vuitton's website and then you spray this fragrance, you're like, ah, he really had an idea with this fragrance. He really executed it. If you go to LA and you see what he's talking about, it's really, really well done. And I really do appreciate this fragrance. Now, I will say that this fragrance itself is not long wearing. It's nowhere near as bad as this guy here, but it's nowhere near as good as Pacific Chill. So if we're looking at longevity, this is not going to be your friend here, but it is going to be one that definitely gives you that nice vibe to your personality, but also gives you that depth, you know, that makes you more interesting without being too intimidating, if that makes any sense. And I would certainly say that this is the best one in this range, followed by this guy, of course. I mean, honestly, these two, you can go with both of these and just be set with the line itself. Thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on today's video. Also, make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know what your thoughts on this range are. Do you have any of them? Which one is your favorite? Did we get the same favorites? Did we get the same least favorites? Let me know all of that down below in the comments. I look forward to reading those, and I'll see you guys on next time's video. Bye.